What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with the recent physique update from Marcelo, aka Harsamdi, and also the big announcement that he's going back to Romania Pro, which is gonna be the first show after this year's Miss Olympia. And for those of you guys who do not know, that is the same show that gave Harsamdi a lot of hype, because he made such a phenomenal pro debut at that show, and that was last year. A show where Marcelo was able to beat a lot of big names like Nathan Diesha, Muhammad Fada and Andrea Presti. So this update marks 6 weeks out of this year's Romania Pro, and his physique right now looks the same as it did before this year's Arnold Classic. I have to say, one of the best quad sweep out there, one of the biggest set of wheels in the men's open right now. Plus he has incredibly good arms as well, and he does create a decent illusion on the stage by twisting in his front chops, especially that front double biceps, and especially in his progress updates. But still, matter of the fact is, he did not turn around and hit the back shots, which are his biggest weakness, and that simply means he's still behind and still lagging in that department. Now we have a very solid reason to believe that Babani is also going to be doing Romania Pro this year. In fact, Babani should do every show in that post-Olympia tour and make some decent money, especially after doing such a lengthy Olympia prep for this year. So both of Milos's guys, they will be competing in that same show, a little different than last year, when all of the top 3 guys in that same show, they were being coached by Milos Orsev, namely Samson Dauda, Babani, and Harsamdi of course. So the question right now is that, can Harsamdi win a pro qualifier in 2025? I'm gonna say it all depends on who shows up, and he has to be vastly improved compared to what we saw at this year's Arnold, and he has to bring that top level of conditioning as well. Next up, we have a 2 days out physique update from Samson Dauda. So the last workout before France Pro, that is done and in the history books. Now it's all about traveling and also posing until it is stage time. So Samson Dauda entering this show, that has made this show so much more exciting. Now we know he's gonna win that show hands down, quite handedly. I mean, he's just gonna walk all over that competition. But the thing is, we will get to see a glimpse of what to expect from Samson Dauda, the 3rd best bodybuilder in the world at the moment, for this upcoming Miss Olympia, which is happening in 2 weeks time now. So as far as his conditioning is concerned, he looks way better than what he looked like for last year's Miss Olympia. So I'm gonna say already ahead. And as of right now, they haven't done any water manipulation or any of the other peak week protocols. And I have to say, there might be another positive aspect that will come out of this show, especially for Samson, because we saw him not in his best condition at this past Arnold, especially the one in Columbus, but he was able to tighten up and bring a far better conditioning for the Arnold UK, which was just 1 week after that. So even if Samson misses his mark, even if he is unable to peak right for this one, they will have another 2 weeks to fix all the issues and bring back a much more detailed package for the big dance, because that is the one that matters. And also, Samson will get the early qualification for the Olympia 2025 in case things do not go his way for this year's Miss Olympia. He will have logged his slot for the Olympia next year already. So there is always a risk involved, because what Samson is doing, that is definitely out of the ordinary. Because even if we look back in the 90s era, the top guys used to compete in the post-Olympia tour, never before the Olympia. Next up, we have an update from the reigning champ, Lunsford. So we have seen some lines on his physique this time that we have never seen before. The chest and the shoulders specifically, they both look a lot better than last year. But this is the crunch time now, because these are the final 2 weeks, and the weak body parts, they are the first ones to flatten out, especially when these guys go through their peak week protocol, when they drop the water. But as of right now, he's looking very full, and he's still holding on to all that density, and he is also showcasing some good amount of detail as well, although he must be on the lowest possible carbs, and he must be on the flat mode right now. So Derek also knows he's gonna be facing the biggest bodybuilding battle of his life in 2 weeks time. Everyone seems to be bringing their A game, especially his biggest rival, Hadi Choopan, because that is the guy who Derek also thinks is gonna be the biggest challenge for him on the stage. So Derek will be aiming to bring a much better package than the Olympia last year, because at last year's Miss Olympia, Hadi did not exactly peak right, especially the way he did for this year's Arnold. And if he was as good at the Olympia as he was for this year's Arnold, he would have been 2 times Miss Olympia by now. So Derek for sure is trying to stop that Arnold Ohio version of Hadi Choopan. And this time there are a lot of other guys who can also make a big upset here. So with 1 year of work, Derek is for sure gonna be drastically better. He should be, because that is what's expected from him. Next up, we have an update from a legend, 7 times Miss Olympia, Phil Heath. And damn, Phil Heath is still a beast, still pressing 5 plates. And we have to keep in mind, the man has been retired for almost 4 years now, and still he is making it look so damn easy. So in my personal opinion, I don't think there is gonna be another guy as dominant as Phil Heath, especially anytime soon. Just look at all the Olympia discussions, especially in the last few weeks, or 2 weeks prior to this year's Miss Olympia. Almost everyone has a different winner, and the fact is there is a legit chance that there are 4 guys who can potentially win the Olympia title this year. And back in Phil Heath's era, all the top guys were hoping that Phil just comes in off, because that was their only chance. Because everyone just knew, if Phil Heath is on, it is just game over for everyone else. And all of them are gonna be fighting for that second spot. And Phil Heath defeated some great bodybuilders in his prime, starting from Jay Cutler, Kai Green, Dexter Jackson, Big Ramy, and so many others. And Phil turns 45 in December, and he is getting more serious about his training. He has been in the gym more frequently now, putting all these updates out there for his fans, which are always a treat to watch. Now, I'm gonna say no disrespect to any of the guys who are gonna be competing at this year's Miss Olympia, but Phil in his prime, like 2011 or 2013, he would absolutely dominate this lineup, and that isn't exaggerating it at all. Next up, we have a 2 weeks old physique update from Fabian, who is gonna be making his classic physique Olympia debut. And that has been a long time coming, but it is finally gonna happen. So he won his classic physique pro debut earlier this year at Charlotte Cup, beating some former Olympians. And I have to say he looked really competitive at this year's Tampa Pro as well. Now he wasn't able to win that show, but he held his own really damn well against a guy like Gabriel, who is a great classic physique competitor. And also the guy who won that show, Justin Ballerina, a guy who is so reminiscent of C-Bomb. Now I have no idea why Fabian parted ways with Francisco Espin, because they were doing great together. So the man looks really impressive for 2 weeks out. But we have to keep in mind, this is the Olympia we are talking about, and that is a different ballgame, and especially for a lot of these guys who are going to be making their Olympia debuts this year, and that includes Fabian as well. Now top 15 for this year's Miss Olympia, that is a very reasonable goal, and I am being 100% realistic about it. Now I must admit that Fabian quite possibly has the biggest arms in classic, legit 22 inches with great bicep peaks as well. So what do you guys think? Can he beat a guy like Logan Franklin in 2 weeks time? Because both these guys have a score to settle. And also hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video. And smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.